Emma Johnson stepped out of a taxi in front of the illustrious Grand Lexington Hotel, a place she had always dreamed of visiting. The evening air was crisp, and the golden glow from the massive chandeliers inside cast a warm invitation, at least to those who belonged. She clutched her small leather purse, adjusting the straps of her simple floral dress. It wasn't designer, but it was clean and well-kept. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. The automatic glass doors slid open, revealing a breathtaking lobby. Polished marble floors reflected the grandeur of the towering pillars. A pianist played soft jazz in the background while well-dressed guests sipped cocktails in the lounge. As she approached the reception desk, she noticed the staff's demeanor shift. The receptionist, Michael, a young man in a fitted navy suit, gave her a brief glance before quickly returning to his computer screen. His expression was carefully blank, but his dismissive glance spoke volumes. Emma cleared her throat. "Good evening. I'd like to book a room for the night, please." Michael barely looked up. "Do you have a reservation?" "No, but I checked online before coming. It showed there are still available rooms." She offered a small smile, trying to ease the growing tension she felt. Michael sighed, glancing at the woman standing behind Emma, an elegant lady in pearls carrying a designer handbag. He instantly straightened, offering the woman a polite nod before turning back to Emma with thinly veiled impatience. "I'm sorry, but we are currently fully booked," he said, emphasizing each word as if explaining to a child. Emma frowned, pulling out her phone. "That can't be right. I checked just before coming here." Michael shifted uncomfortably. He quickly tapped on his keyboard before replying, Well, those rooms are reserved for our premium guests. We have a strict policy." Emma's smile faded. "Strict policy?" Michael hesitated, then forced a customer service smile. "Our establishment caters to a certain clientele. Perhaps a different hotel would be more suited for you." Emma's grip tightened around the strap of her purse, her cheeks warming, not from embarrassment, but from anger. She looked past Michael at the manager standing a few feet away, watching with a knowing look, making no effort to intervene. Taking a slow breath, she controlled her emotions. She looked Michael in the eyes, then at the manager, then at the luxury around her. Finally, she nodded. "Very well," she said, her voice calm but firm. Turning, her heels clicked softly against the marble floor as she stepped outside. The cold air hit her, contrasting the warmth of her anger. She looked up at the glowing Grand Lexington Hotel sign, memorizing every detail. Then she hailed a taxi. She'd be back. The following evening, the Grand Lexington Hotel was bustling with activity. Chauffeur-driven cars pulled up to the entrance, their polished surfaces gleaming under the golden exterior lights. The doormen stood at attention, dressed in crisp uniforms, ready to greet another night of elite guests. A sleek black limousine glided to a stop in front of the hotel. The uniformed valet rushed forward, anticipating a VIP. The doors swung open, and Emma Johnson stepped out. But she was not the same woman from the night before. Gone was the simple floral dress. Tonight, she wore an elegant midnight blue gown, tailored to perfection, with subtle diamonds catching the light at her wrist. Her hair, once in a modest bun, cascaded in soft waves over her shoulders. The doorman who had ignored her the night before straightened instinctively, sensing the aura of confidence surrounding her. Michael, the receptionist, was at his post when he noticed the woman entering. He glanced up, prepared to offer the usual polished greeting, but the words died in his throat when he recognized her. His breath caught slightly, and his hands gripped the desk as realization dawned. The woman they had dismissed so easily was back, but different. Emma walked toward him with effortless grace, her heels clicking softly against the marble. Guests in the lobby glanced her way, sensing someone important had just arrived. She reached the front desk, and Michael scrambled to maintain his professional composure. "Good evening," he said, his voice uncertain. Emma didn't smile. "I believe you have a reservation under the name Johnson." Michael quickly pulled up the system, his hands slightly shaky. He saw it instantly, the presidential suite. His throat went dry. "Yes, of course, Ms. Johnson," he said hurriedly. "Your suite is ready for you. Welcome to the Grand Lexington Hotel." Emma tilted her head slightly, watching him. There was no satisfaction in her eyes, just calm observation. At that moment, the hotel manager, Mr. Whitmore, appeared. He was a tall man with graying hair, always impeccably dressed. Unlike Michael, he was quick to pick up on the situation. He recognized power when he saw it, and right now, Emma Johnson radiated it. "Ms. Johnson," Whitmore said smoothly, stepping forward. "I wasn't aware of your arrival. Welcome. We're honored to have you." Emma turned to face him, meeting his gaze. There was a flicker of something in Mr. Whitmore's eyes, nervousness. He didn't know exactly who she was, but he knew she was someone powerful, someone who didn't come to play. Emma offered him the faintest of smiles, the kind that said, "I see everything." "Thank you, Mr. Whitmore," she replied, her tone level. "But it's interesting, you weren't aware of my arrival. I assumed the owner of a property would want to know when the CEO of the parent company checks in." Whitmore froze. "CEO?" Emma reached into her clutch and pulled out a business card, sleek, black and gold, simple yet striking, and laid it on the counter with deliberate precision. Michael leaned forward and read the words printed on it. His face paled immediately. Lexford Group, CEO Emma Johnson. Whitmore blinked, his jaw slackening just slightly. The Lexford Group. The very name that had made headlines across the hospitality industry just the day before. They had acquired the entire Grand Lexington chain. Every property, every employee, every inch of polished marble now answered to her. "I was here last night," Emma said, her voice calm but unyielding, "to observe guest treatment firsthand. Incognito, if you will." Whitmore opened his mouth, but no words came. He glanced at Michael, who looked like he might melt into the carpet. Emma continued, her eyes never leaving the manager's. "I was turned away at your front desk. Dismissed. Judged. Lied to. Because I didn't look the part. Tell me, Mr. Whitmore, how many other guests have you pushed out for not meeting your visual standards of wealth?" Whitmore ran a hand over his mouth, searching for a response. "Miss Johnson, I can assure you, this is not our standard practice." "Isn't it?" She cut in, her voice sharper now. "Because from where I stood, it looked very much like a policy. And I don't do business with people who build their reputations on exclusion." The silence that followed was heavy. Michael swallowed hard, hands trembling. Whitmore looked visibly rattled. Emma straightened. With a clean motion, she slid the presidential suite keycard off the counter and into her palm. "I'll be staying here for the next few days," she said coolly. "I suggest you use the time to reevaluate how you manage both your staff and your standards." Then, without another word, she turned toward the private elevator. The soft click of her heels echoed across the marble as the entire lobby seemed to watch her go. When the elevator doors closed behind her, only then did Whitmore let out the breath he had been holding. Upstairs, the presidential suite welcomed her with quiet opulence. Floor-to-ceiling windows gave a sweeping view of the city skyline, golden lighting softened the edges of the room, and a chilled bottle of Dom Perignon sat in a silver ice bucket. Emma barely looked at it. She walked to the window, pulled out her phone, and dialed. "Proceed with the full audit," she said. "Staff evaluations, management behavior, guest complaints, internal emails, everything. I want a comprehensive report." The voice on the other end confirmed with crisp professionalism. "And restructure the onboarding program," she continued. "Effective immediately. Discrimination, overt or passive, is unacceptable. I want all staff retrained. And launch the anonymous guest feedback system today." Another confirmation. She ended the call and stared out over the city. The skyline glittered like the surface of a quiet storm. She had built everything she had for moments just like this, overlooked, underestimated, dismissed, and she had risen every time. There was a knock at her door. "Come in," she called. A young woman stepped inside, visibly nervous but kind-faced. "Ms. Johnson," she said with a slight bow. "Welcome to the Grand Lexington Hotel. My name is Natalie. I just wanted to personally say, if there's anything I can do to make your stay more comfortable, I'm here." Emma studied her. There was no artifice in her smile, no polished disdain. Just earnestness. "Thank you, Natalie. How long have you worked here?" 3 months, Natalie replied. "I'm part of the new hospitality training initiative." Emma tilted her head. "And how have you found working here?" Natalie hesitated. "It's challenging sometimes. I try to treat everyone kindly, but the culture here, it leans a certain way." Emma nodded slowly. "That will change. Soon." Natalie looked curious, but Emma only smiled. "Thank you for your sincerity. That's all." Natalie gave another polite nod and exited. Emma walked back to her phone and typed out one final message. "Review all personnel files. Recommend removals where necessary. Compassion and integrity are now part of the dress code." Downstairs, in the staff lounge, Michael sat next to Whitmore. Neither said a word. An emergency meeting had been scheduled with corporate for that afternoon. The weight of their decisions was already bearing down. The next morning, Emma sat in the private lounge adjoining her suite, enjoying a quiet breakfast. Sunlight poured through the windows. She sipped her coffee slowly, watching the buzz of the lobby below. Something had shifted. The staff moved differently. Their smiles felt more real. Conversations were lighter. Even Michael, though visibly subdued, was making a conscious effort. He greeted guests with genuine tones now, no undercurrents of judgment. Across the lobby, Emma saw Natalie warmly welcoming a family, parents in modest clothing with 2 children in tow. Without checking the system, Natalie knelt slightly to the little girl's eye level. "Welcome to the Grand Lexington Hotel. We're so glad you're here," she said brightly. Emma set her coffee down and smiled quietly. She had changed the rules, not just for herself, but for every person who had ever been told, directly or otherwise, that they weren't enough. Now, they'd walk through those grand glass doors and be seen, respected, and never, ever dismissed again.